Hello viewer, this is Elimu TV. You are learning History and Government, Form 1, Lesson 1 and Chapter 1, which is Introduction to History and Government. Topic that we're going to deal with is the meaning of history. Have you ever asked yourself, what is history? Today I want to take you through the meaning of history. History is derived from Greek word, and the Greek word is history. Historia meaning inquiry, knowledge acquired by investigation. It is the study of the past, particularly how it relates to human beings. It is a study of past events, particularly in human affairs. The study of all past human experience and record of events in relation to the environment. Basically, history, you study the knowledge acquired by investigation. Here you study the past, particularly how it relates to human beings, the human beings and his environment. History as a subject, or rather history, for you to understand history, it is good you study well the two main periods in history. So there are two main periods in history that can help you know the past and the present, because that is ideally the meaning of history. So we have two periods in history. One, we have prehistory period. The word prehistory, pre means before. Therefore, prehistory period, it is a study of history of man in distant past. It relies on excavated materials and fossils. As the name suggests, prehistory, it is a period before the history of human beings. And for you to know this, you have to rely on excavated materials. Excavated materials, they are these materials that are dug out, materials that were buried a long period of time, and therefore you have to excavate them and study. You have to gather the fossils materials. So by this, you're able to know the prehistory. So it is basically the study of history of man in a distant past. History period. The number 2 period of history is history period. And this is a period is a study of man in known time. It relies on raw data from written works or the narrations. This history period, this particular period, you will deal with man in the known times, the time that is known. And this one, because the time is known, unlike the prehistory, you will rely on the raw data, the data that is gathered from the written works, or rather the narrations. So these are basically the two periods in history that will help you understand the history as a subject. So this period of history can be illustrated as follows. The first period, it is pre, which actually came before the history period. The periods help you to focus the history of man and his environment, right from the time before history and the time that is known, that is the historical period. So, in history is divided into three major branches. They are divided into 3 branches. And these branches of history are basically illustrated as follows. This flow chart. You can divide history into 3 because there are 3 branches. Number 1, you have the political part of the history. Number 2, we have the social part of history, that is known as the social history. Number 3, we have the economic history. We are going to deal with them, each of them. And by starting with the political history, here it is a history that studies the government and the leaders. So in history, the part that studies the government, any government set up in any country, and the leaders, it is known as the political history. And therefore, in my illustration here, for example, you can have Kenya as a country. Kenya has got the government. So you have the government of Kenya and the leaders. Talk of the first president, 1963 to 1978. That is Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. We have 1978 to 2000. We have Arap Moi, Daniel Arap Moi. We have 2003 to 2013. This is the third president or the third leader in Kenya. That is Mwai Kibaki. And the president who is there from 2013 to present, this is President Uhuru Kenyatta. So basically, in the political history, we shall be dealing with the government and the leaders. Whenever you come across the government and the leaders in history, you definitely know that this is the political history. Number 2 branch of history, it is the economic history. And the economic history, this is a history that is actually the way it studies the way people earn a living, the way human beings survive, the way they get their daily bread. This can be either through practicing of agriculture, the industry, there are those who participate in trade, there are those who participate in transport, others they practice hunting and gathering, and so on. So basically, the way in which people earn a living, it is known as the economic history. And you can see in my pictures, some of them are practicing agriculture, some of them transport, some of human beings, the trade, and others, they are hunters and gatherers, the hunting and gathering. So basically, this is the second branch. That branch of history that we have the last branch, that is the social history, and the part of the history that studies or study of how people lived together, or rather their culture, the way of dressing, the way of eating, the religion, the medicine, education, that is studied under social history. As the name suggests, social history, this is the study, broadly studying the way people lived together, or rather the culture. The culture is people's way of life, the way they lived, that is dressing, talk of eating, talk of religion, talk of medicine, and so on. So the way people lived, it is studied under the social history. And this one we shall discuss the next lesson that we shall be having. And this is, I want us to attempt the following. You explain broadly, who do you understand by the term history? And the next class we're going to see the history, the importance of studying history and the government. So thank you for Staying tuned to Elimu TV. This is the only place, only television where you watch and learn. I have been your teacher, John Gatuma. Thank you.